Brothers and sisters, with regard to the topic, I think I agree with what Mufti have said as well as Dr. Shafi have said. The question of authenticity, of course, I think it is one of the important things in Islamic finance. Now, if you look into the history of Islamic finance, you see, if we take, let's say, Dubai Islamic Bank, which was established in 1975 as the first modern institution, you see, in Islamic finance, we are less than 40 years old. So I would say that Islamic finance is still at its infancy level. Okay, now, if you look into the development, when you talk about authenticity, we can see that during the early days of Islamic finance, the scholars as well as the practitioners, I mean, they are just trying to find what are the alternative. You see, meaning that instead of doing the haram thing, how to do the halal thing. Okay, so meaning that I would say that the social concern was not very much there at the early inception of Islamic finance. Okay, people are just bogged down with, okay, this is haram, this is halal, so let us come up with something to do what is halal. Okay, and alhamdulillah, I think the progress has been made. Okay, and I always believe that now is the time, you see, for us to re-look back what we have done over the past 40 years or less, a little bit less than 40 years. Okay, if in the past, I think more or less, we have already settled the fundamentals, meaning that the fiqh rulings, okay, the Islamic legal rulings related to Islamic finance, more or less we have settled. Yes, I mean, there are some new products, blah blah blah, you see, but all these products are also built on the basic fundamentals. We already have, IOF have already taken out more than 40 standards right now, Shari'ah standards. Okay, we have a lot of fatwas. If you go to our website, ISRA website, you can see that there are thousands of fatwas, you see, and there are a lot of development that has taken place on the legal aspect of Islamic finance, Islamic legal aspect of Islamic finance. So now it is the time for us to look back. If you look into some of the fatwa that was issued by the scholars, it was issued based on certain circumstances at a particular time. That's why you can find that quite a number of exceptions that has been given by the scholars. Now, this is the time for us to re-look back, to review back whether those exceptions that were given at the early inception is still valid or not. You see, I've been always saying that we need to review, you see, and I believe that this is also the tendency. When I remember attending some of the Dallah Barakah conference and whatnot, I mean, the call is there for us to review and look back what we have been doing. I mean, whether the fatwa that has been issued is still valid, or you see, we need to issue a new fatwa. So it is the time now, okay, for us to, instead of just looking at the legal aspect of Islamic finance, we have to look at the moral, at the social aspect of Islamic finance. That is the reason why I always propagate the notion that Shari'ah board should not only consist of Shari'ah expert, but Shari'ah board should also consist of economists as well as people from other background, so that, you see, the Shari'ah expert can give Shari'ah view. Economists can look whether, to what extent that this particular product will benefit the society, or whether, you know, this particular product is going to bring more harm, even though it might be halal, okay, but it might not be tayyib. I mean, some are using this this connotation. It should not only be halal, but it must be tayyib, meaning that it really brings benefit to the society. So I believe that this is a time for us to move, and I mean, the debate and discussion should be along this line, to elevate ourselves, you see, from just looking merely at the legal aspect of it, you see, into looking at the moral aspect. I always emphasize that You see, always I think Shari'ah 101, okay, always we learn about what is the component of Shari'ah. That is the fundamentals, the Aqidah part of it, that is the legal part of it, that is the Akhlaq part of it. You see, so I always tell people that when we claim our product is Shari'ah compliant, meaning that it has to comply with all these three components rather than just complying with one component of Shari'ah. I think I'll stop there. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله العظيم لي ولكم. Probably if there is any question, inshallah I'll try to address it.